The IRS has also noted that it is making a shift in the moratorium. This is a huge deal. Hey, everybody, this is Chris, the founder and CEO of the Relief Consultants here at the West Coast office of our team. And today was an interesting day because the IRS came out with an update regarding the ERC. It's a pretty big update, so let's go through it. Let's just check out the actual wording from the department, and we're going to go ahead and see what it means for us and our clients and all of you guys so you can know what's going on. All right, so this came out today. The Internal Revenue Service announced today additional actions to help small businesses and prevent improper payments, including accelerating payments and continuing compliance work on the pandemic era credit that was flooded with claims. So the IRS continues to work denials of improper claims, intensifying audits, and pursuing civil criminal investigations. Interesting is that they've only done about, I think, like 500 or 1,000 audits out of 4 or 5 million claims. So it's a little bit misleading there. They're trying to scare public. Probably a good strategy to save money, but it's not really that honest. The findings of the IRS review announced in June confirmed concerns raised by professionals and others that there was a high rate of improper claims. In recent weeks, the IRS has sent out 28,000 disallowance letters to businesses whose claims showed a high risk of being incorrect. The IRS estimated these disallowances prevented $5 billion in improper payments. Thousands of audits are underway, and 460 criminal cases have been initiated. So it's like there's really not that much considering the volume. The IRS has also identified 50,000 valid claims and is quickly moving them into the pipeline for processing next week or in the coming weeks. These payments are part of the low risk group. So first thing I want to mention is that the 28,000 disallowance letters, we actually got 3. Our company got 3 disallowance letters, and one of them we're putting together a strong appeal. The other 2 are 100% wrong. So the disallowance letters we got for our clients were egregiously wrong. They said basically like, you didn't check this box on the form. And then we looked at the form and we did check the box, and we called the IRS and we said, hey, can you pull up the form we sent in? And they did actually tell us that, yeah, the box is checked. We have no idea why your client got this letter. And that happened 2 times out of the 3. The third one, we have to actually prove a little bit of information, and we have all the facts. We're just putting it together. So they're actually going to mention that. I think I've heard that they mentioned that. So given the complexity of the ERC and to reduce the risk of improper payments, the IRS emphasized it is moving methodically and deliberately on disallowances as well as payments to balance the needs of businesses with legitimate claims against the wave of improper claims that came in. The ERC is one of the most complex provisions that ever administered by the IRS, I guess. And the IRS continues to work hard to balance our work to protect taxpayers from improper claims while also making payments to qualifying businesses. It's been time consuming, and during the past year, we maintained a steady cadence. I don't really agree with that. The steady cadence has not been there, but hey, they can say what they want. The IRS is committed to continuing our work to resolve this program as Congress contemplates further action. Well, the further action is very likely not happening. That further action would be a retroactive deadline of January 31st. So this all goes into our next point, that to counter the flood of claims, the IRS announced a moratorium in September of last year to give agency time to change their information processing and study a large amount of claims, which are made to amended paper tax returns. That's the 941X. The analysis of the results during the period helped the IRS evaluate next steps, providing the agency valuable information. The detailed review during the moratorium allowed the IRS to move into this new stage of the program with more payments and disallowances. The IRS will remain in close contact with the tax professional community to help navigate through the complex landscape. It's been a resource-intensive credit for the teams to evaluate, Commissioner Werfel said. Unfortunately, the situation was compounded by misleading marketing. Well, yeah, misleading marketing, but you have actually, companies who did it right. There were definitely companies who did it wrong. I've seen them a few firsthand, and they definitely do them wrong. Happy to say ours, because you can read the rules and you can become familiar and you can become an expert in this, it's possible to do it right, and we did it right. We strive to do it right all the time. Perfect storm for improper payments while complicating processing for legitimate businesses. All right, so here's the next part. Work continues on improper claims as IRS closely monitors feedback, appeals process available for denied claims. The recent issuance of 28,000 disallowance letters, the IRS is aware of concerns raised by tax professionals. I raised those concerns myself on LinkedIn. We kind of had a viral post, 10,000 views on it. By tax professionals about potential errors. Errors in the disallowance letters. That's the errors I just mentioned earlier. We're still evaluating the results of the first significant wave of disallowances, which came about 3 weeks ago. Early indications indicate errors are relatively isolated. Well, most of our 2 out of the 3 disallowance letters we got were erroneous, 100% erroneous. And the third one we got was a blind assumption by the IRS, not really erroneous, but also just not really valid. The IRS will continue to remain in contact with the tax community and monitor the situation and make adjustments to minimize the burden of businesses and representatives. Specifically, the IRS will adjust its processes and filters for determining invalid claims following each wave of disallowances. So any clients who get the disallowance letters, let us know immediately. We have to address it right away. And the likelihood that the disallowance letter is not valid. They just sent out basically tons of denials, and you just want to see what happens, how people react to them. The IRS also noted that in limited cases where claims can be proven to have been improperly denied, the agency will work with taxpayers to get it right. Well, again, we have 2 of those for sure. The other one we had, I mentioned, one of them is checking a box. The other one just says, your company wasn't in business during COVID, so you don't get the ERC. And I'm like, I called up our client, and if you're watching this, hey, yeah, I remember that phone call, and you said you were definitely in business. And then we talked to the IRS and we said, well, has this business been filing their taxes each year and paying their payroll taxes and their income taxes, corporate income taxes? And the IRS agent said, yes, every single tax form is on file, every single tax deposit is made. So I said, why would the IRS say that this company isn't in business? And they said, I don't know. And they were baffled, and we're baffled too. So the IRS reminds businesses that when they receive a denial letter, they have options available to file an appeal by responding back to the address on the denial letter. The IRS has learned some of the recent early mailings have inadvertently omitted a paragraph highlighting a process for appeals. Okay, yeah, they messed up they didn't even put the right stuff on the disallowance letters. Basically, they're in shambles. Additional payments for 50,000 valid claims moving into processing more in the fall. Very cool. In the latest step, the IRS announced that low-risk ERC claims will be paid out quickly. This is great news. 50,000 of these claims. After processing is complete, the claims will be paid out. The IRS projects payments will begin in September, which is a few weeks away, with additional payments coming out in subsequent weeks. The IRS anticipates adding another large block of additional low-risk claims for processing and payment in fall. Great. November 14th, 2023. As the agency moves forward, it will now start judiciously processing claims between September 14th and January 31st. So basically, the moratorium is now moved. Now, during the initial moratorium period, we were saying, hey, if you have a valid claim, still send it out, still file it. And we had pushback from many people saying, oh, no, there's a moratorium. You shouldn't be filing. Well, if you had done our recommendation, you would be in that bucket. And we did have a number of cases filed after September 14th and before January 31st. So that's good news. If that's your case, that means you are next up in line. Like the rest of the ERC inventory, work will focus on highest and lowest risk claims. This means there will be instances where the agency will start taking actions on claims submitted in this time period when the agency has a sound basis to pay or deny a claim. As the IRS begins to process additional claims, the agency reminds businesses they may receive payments for some valid tax periods while the IRS continues to review other periods. But this means that you may receive a portion of your claim and not all of it. And then the non-paid will be continued to be reviewed. Eligibility can vary from one tax period to another. For example, if government orders were no longer in place. Also, qualified wages may vary due to the PPP, or because an employer already claimed the maximum amount of qualified wages in an earlier tax period, 100%. So basically, if you did it wrong, you're probably going to have an issue. If you did it right, to which I can say confidently, if you're watching this video and you're a client of ours, it was done right, then good things are to come. So that's pretty much it. Notice they don't talk about how many audits there are because there's very few. Great. Well, anyway, so this is some other stuff. Yeah, definitely some bad actors in the space, and the reason why we're in this position is because of them. And yeah, this is the update from the IRS from today, August 8th. That the IRS, the main points are: A, if you got a disallowance letter, let us know immediately. B, they're starting to pay claims, and 50,000 claims will be paid in the next few weeks, with another block to happen after that. And C, the moratorium has now been moved. So now they have moved the cutoff date to now further along to January 31st, 2024, which interestingly enough is the date of the proposed retroactive deadline, which I really don't think that Congress is going to pass a retroactive deadline. It's really just poor to ever make retroactive tax law. If they do, it's bad news for anyone filed after January 31st, but they likely will not. I think they will likely, because of the configuration of the Senate, simply ride out the eligibility window to submit your claim until April 15th of next year. All right, that's it for me, guys. If you watch this video and you're here all the way to the end, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Looking forward to some great updates in the coming days, weeks, months. It's been a long wait, but here we are, finally getting to the promised land. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye now.